The Angry Video Game Nerd, a name that has been connected to the earliest days of YouTube and the Angry Reviewer for well over a decade. And who would have thought this simple filmmaker from Philadelphia, James Rolfe, would end up redefining how people would do reviews for quite a long time. He would set the standard for the, well, as I said before, the angry critic. And he would then usher in a legion of copycats and similar trended people, from irate gamer to the spoony one to even nostalgia critic. Hey guys, StarCraft here, and I have been a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd for the longest time, since the Silver Surfer review was actually my very first one, Silver Surfer Die Hard-ish. And I am so honored to have been allowed by Screenwave and Cinemasker and all of that to be able to give you a review of the Angry Video Game Nerd Adventures 1 and 2 Deluxe. I'll also be reviewing the original version of those two games as well. But before I get started, I want to talk about why I love this web series, so much. And most of it boils down to James Rolfe himself. Think about it. This guy has been around on the internet for well over a decade. And how many other people have been around for almost a decade who have either fallen off the wagon, gone off the rails, been more hostile towards their longtime fans? There's certain out there as well who have had a bunch of other controversies. Or they've simply decided to let politics start to dominate themselves. But not James. James is the real deal class act. And the funny thing is, he's going to influence so many of these people. You think out of all of them that you think he'll be the last one, but no, because a lot of it's because the nerd persona is not really James's true persona. The guy is mostly a nice, calm, quiet fella. He's a dad now with 2 kids, and he's the kind of guy who has chosen to be a father over going out and making more movies. He's had opportunities, and he decided, no, I'm going to focus on doing more nerd and do all the other stuff locally so I can raise my girls right. And bravo, man, bravo. But there's more. What is it about the nerd besides James himself that I love so much? He's just a bunch of, oh, fuck this, fuck that, fuck tards, what were they fucking thinking? All that. And you'd be right. And are all of his videos great big hits? No, he has some duds, I openly admit. But at the same time, it's humor. He's one of the few people who's still doing the angry critic that you still like because he's still making good points. A lot of the people who've been doing the angry critic stuff have kind of gone off the rails, or they decided, I'm going to be a bit more introspective and everything, or I'm going to tone back on the anger and all that. The thing about the nerd though, since he's the one who first did it, you can't get away with it, and James knows it. And he doesn't try to change the character. He doesn't give any long-term story arcs or anything with the character. The character is just who he is. And while he does add some sketches to his stuff, he doesn't go overboard like Nostalgia Critic does. And they do really more appeal to the show and to the review. He'll only add them if they're necessary. If they're not necessary, he doesn't usually do them. He'll use props, but for the most part, he doesn't go out of his way to change it. He is a filmmaker first and foremost. And that's what I love so much about all of his work. And, well, with this video game, why am I going over all this? The video games take so much reference. I want to showcase my knowledge of Angry Video Game Nerd lore. Oh, by lore, I mean, of course, just I know about what happened in all the episodes. And be able to use it to point out every ins and outs. From all of the episodes, nearly 200, 183, maybe 84 if he releases a new one after this recording. And that's nearly 200, and a theatrical movie, plus cameos all over the place. The guy has done so much. And Yeah, he's gone from doing it weekly to bi-monthly to whenever he feels like it. But even now, whenever he feels likes it, that's part of the other reason why he still has such a high quality. He wants it to be the best and not have to chug it out on a basis, which I appreciate. And that's why he does all the other sub-series, so he can fill in the void and be able to still make a profit off of it. But the fact that he saves the nerd for when he feels it's best to do the new video, just, again, bravo, and James, bravo, I applaud you. So, yeah, and let's get right into the review, shall we?
This game sucks.
Now, I'm not saying the entire game is shit, of course not, but I couldn't help but opening up with that line. So yeah, like I just said earlier, I'm going to be going over Brian 1 and 2 Deluxe of Angry Video Game Nerd Adventures, but I'm also going to be talking about the original. But beforehand, I want to talk a little bit about the people who made this fine game. Freak Zone Games, a one-man indie developing company who's done quite a good number of games so far. One of which happens to be, unfortunately on mobile, the Super Jump Shoot Attack. Very fun game. It's on mobile, like I said, and you just jump, shoot, and attack. But they're best known for Manos: The Hands of Fate, specifically Manos: The Hands of Fate Director's Cut, and for on Steam, mobile, and all that. It's basically a game, obviously, off of the infamous movie that MST3K really popularized, where you basically play as the main character. I'm just blanking on his name right now, but you're running around and you're shooting stuff, and Mike was his name, and you're going around shooting stuff, and well, yeah, it's a precursor to what we'd be getting in the AVGN game, but it's played up, if you see from the graphics, very much like an NES game. You basically have a gun and you just shoot all the bad guys, collect jewels and all that, kind of help you get one-ups. And yeah, you go through the entire movie. I don't have as much footage for this game because, well, that's not the focus. But as you see here, you get a shotgun. But unfortunately, you get hit once and you lose it. Yeah, one of those types. But it's still very fun. It can be very addicting, especially when while you have limited lives, you still get plentiful of them. And you can actually grab the titular Hands of Fate and get a house upgrade, as you can see right here. And you can, if you collect all of them, which is very easy to do, you get the best ending where Mike actually survives and he just downgrades the entire hotel. You get all that, you then be able to play as Torgo, the other infamous character from the movie. In this case, you just play in Mike's place as Torgo, running around. You actually do slide a little bit. His pitchfork can actually shoot as well. I haven't beaten this mode yet, but it's just fun to include it. But yeah, let's get into talking about the first game, shall we? As we open up with the nerd and his friends were playing shitty games together, when suddenly his friends were zapped into the TV. The nerd escaped into the basement, but an arm came out of the TV, grabbed him by the balls, and pulled him inside. Very much like Action 52's Cheetah Men. Gameland, 3 a.m. As we now start going through the tutorial, the nerd's like, "What the fuck? Am I in a shitty game?" And there's Nagy, the patronizing Firefly. "Oh, fuck no, go away." Tell you to do all the stuff like jump, you're a genius. Beer restores your health, nerd likes that. And yeah, just giving you to the basics. And then you get these weapons right here. And well, these weapons actually get be lobbed and tossed, much like from Friday the 13th.
Love this game. Love the way the stones keep missing the zombies because they go in this nice arc that flies over them.
Yeah, see what I mean? Again, nice little reference here. They're pretty much useless. But at the end, you can actually shoot and destroy Nagy. But one of the advantages of the Deluxe Edition is you can shoot that dumb flying bitch right off the bat if you want to. Yep, fuck tutorials. You can't hold my answer the game. Very well said, nerd. But yeah, you have the opening land, much like Mega Man, like where you could select them all. Oh, so many of them. And most people start with Castlevania. I prefer to start with Future Football 2010. Which year? Well, first, as a nice little nod to Street Fighter 2010. Oh yeah, that's really what the future was like. As you're going through, and well, here's what it looks like in the Deluxe Edition. So much better. Just look at those graphics. Oh, there's Rob. Don't you remember the 100th episode when he beat the crap out of the nerd? Yeah, take it, Rob. But yeah, as you're going through, and here's one of the power-ups. The Game Glitch Gremlin from, well, the Game Glitch episode. And what does he do? Well, once you actually utilize him, he will, and pause the screen and all that, and whoops! Oops, I did it at the wrong time. Darn it. But still, though, you can see right here, all these spiky balls. Yeah, that's actually not how they're like in the original. There we go. In the original, they were just death spots, and trust me, those get annoying. Also additional, but that's not in the original, you get to still continue to collect the nerd cartridges like you would in the second game. And well, the reason why I go for this stage first is because here you get your first unlockable character. The guitar guy from behind the couch as a skeleton. Yeah, he is known as Kyle Justin, and he was a skeleton from the Schwarzenegger game. Later on, he was revitalized by the nerd. But from what I understand, Kyle didn't want to have his likeness used in the game, so they decided to stick with his skeleton form. No problem with that. They respect the man's privacy and all. Then we get to the boss area, which is basically the Silver Surfer level. And I gotta say, the Silver Surfer episode, one of the first ones I watched, they had one of the best rants.
It's like you touch the top of the building, you die. You touch the ceiling, you die. You touch the floor, you die. Too far to the right, you die. Too far to the left, you die. You die, you die, you die, 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 die. Oh, God, I can't fucking stand it.
And the final boss is the Where Did You Learn to Fly bit from the Atari Jaguar episode. And basically, in this case, you take down all of her different heads. And while you're doing that, once you take them all down, she then gets angry at you and, well, goes into rage mode. Next up, we're going to be doing Dungeons and Dick Holes. And, well, right at the beginning, you go down the ladder and you get this moment.
Nice. Fucking beautiful. The first ladder you see drops you into a pit where you get killed by a bird or a bat, whatever it is. And even if it wasn't there, I'd fall on the spikes. So it's basically death insurance. Let's put every kind of obstacle we can possibly think of in the very beginning of the game. You know, I'm disappointed. Couldn't there have been lava on top of the spikes with fire sharks swimming in it? Couldn't there be more spikes coming from the sides ready to close in and squash me while stabbing at the same time? How about some laser cannons and upside down volcanoes? You want to be even more efficient? Why even have the ladder? Why not just start the game falling down the pit? Fucking assholes.
Talk about a great reference. Well, anyway, doing this game and this level on the update in the Deluxe Edition actually does allow me to notice one major change between the engines. You see, in here, once you get the moment, once you reach the edge, well, in the original version, you jump off the edge, you die. Plain and simple. But you do it here, and you actually go down, and actually leads to a nice little secret down below where you get one of the nerd letters. Also, here's another difference. Look at how many death blocks there are here. Well, they've been again replaced with spikes. Makes it a lot easier, and I really appreciate it. So, yeah, then here's the reason why I had to get the guitar guy first. You use him to get up, and, well, you find Motherfucker Mike. Normally from the board James, and, well, nerd has stated, he doesn't know who the heck he is. But Mike is still a very good character, allowing you to see secrets and being able to use your lightsaber sword or laser sword to slash right through them all. Now here he goes into the boss, and it's the giant claw, which was from that old horror movie, quote-unquote horror, that James has mentioned about. It's as big as a battleship! But yeah, this isn't the first time. Freak Zone also used him during the Manos Hands of Fate director's cut. Much easier version, actually a bit more difficult to take care of, but this wouldn't be the last time. You see it again in the deluxe edition of AVGN 2, as you see it as King Claudora. And I love it how they intentionally made him look a bit more like King Ghidorah from the recent movie. And then in a nod to the Dragon's Raider game, oh, there was that. So yeah, that was the giant claw. Very well handled, and I just love how Freak Zone keeps on using him. So next one is Beat 'em and Eat 'em, a homage to the Atari porn games. Yes, the Atari porn game. Cinder himself has talked at a whole video on them, and good Lord Almighty, you just believe these things were made. And again, I love how Freak Zone just takes the animation and turns it up, like them shaking their booties earlier. Oh, this is a moment to talk a bit more about Mike. He also is the highest jumper. Just look at him go. Whee! And again, that laser sword of his, very well and handy. So yeah, just very fun to have Mike around. And he's actually been one of my favorite characters to use during the first one because he's very helpful and easy to dodge. And remember what I said about slapping? Couldn't resist. But with him, you're able to then find the next hidden character, the Bullshit Man. Take it away, BS.
Shit. You know what's bullshit?
Couldn't said it better. Yeah, the Bullshit Man has a bit of a double jump, not a very strong one, but he also has the strongest attack. You've probably seen some of the other boss battles. That shit just really hurts. But yeah, the final boss is another one of the Atari porn games, Custer's Revenge. Yep, perfectly done well, although not as porn filled. The princess or whoever and Custer himself are a lot better, well, handled and a bit censored. But a very good boss as well. As again, couldn't resist, could I? Next we have Castlevania, clearly inspired by Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, especially with that opening line from the nerd. Now, this is one of those cases of the nerd hates it, James is more indifferent and just as critical. But the nerd keeps on acting like it's one of the worst games he's playing. It's really not. Now we're going to be coming up on one of the more infamous parts in the original, and I think it's better just to let the nerd sum it up during his AVGN Games review. So yeah, just take it away, James.
The biggest obstacle are these death blocks. You touch them, you die. It's all about getting these patterns down, and there's hardly any room to fuck up. Undershot it. Overshot it. You think there's enough death blocks?
Yeah, that was one of the more difficult things about that original game, is all the death blocks. But as you can see here, significantly less death blocks, filled more with spikes that will still hurt you, but no more, oh my god, it's so hard. So yeah, you see I was Mike and they got a little shortcut earlier, but yeah, it's pretty much a much easier portion going all the way through. So that's one of the things I just like about this. It's so much easier and it's not just hair-pointingly frustrating. Oh, here's a power-up I'll get to in a moment, but for a moment there's like another collectible, well, more observational collectible, Ship Pickle, one of the other characters from the nerd. Next is the other power-up of Super Mega Death Christ from the many things in his Cinemaster stuff. Also, here's the Super Scope, the SNES Super Scope. We'll get more to that later, but here's the boss of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, one of the nerd's worst games ever. And I like how he's basically playing up with the notion that when he's Hyde, he's invincible. He has all the power. When he's Jekyll, well, as you can see, he's a complete wuss. Again, I love when Freak Zone handles all this stuff. Very, very, very good. Next we got the Happy Fun Land, and this one is just a playing up on, well, did you see that? All those spikes are showing up from the grumpy block. But yeah, this is basically what these levels are, and God, hate that. Also, let's talk about the cameos. In the original version, you had all these cameos. In this case, Wiz and Boomstick from Death Battle from Screw Attack. But for the new release, they since decided to drop it and go along with Future Nerd. Yeah, about Future Nerd. Let's go back a little bit. As earlier, we had, here's a case of the nerd meeting up with the nerd for the first time, and he tells you he's from the future, obviously the second game. And the two are just like, shut the fuck up, you're stuck in a shitty game. No shit, how do I get the fuck out of here? You don't understand, it gets worse. this isn't the first time. There's a sequel. Wait, what? This isn't even the original. Yeah, basically summing up that this is a remaster, and they're poking fun at it. They say, we've done this already. Yep, polish the turd and all that. Ream of Astards. I do like this. And basically all the cameos beforehand have been entirely replaced with the AVG Future Nerd. Like I say, that's a nice way of filling it in so there isn't that much to worry about. And you get some nice upgrades that are not available in the original game. But yeah, he also points the Mandela effect, as you'll see a little bit later, because if you look here, here's the original boss. It was this Happy Unicorn, an original villain, and very annoying and frustrating, believe me. This is still on easy mode, and I'm still getting my butt kicked. But, following the Mandela effect in the Berenstain Bears episode, we get the Bloodstained Bears. Yeah, not my favorite boss because it's just one huge hitbox, but I do like this change. You even see the little unicorn in the corner all dead. Oh, and, well, there they go. See, that was pretty easy. A little too easy if you ask me, but a very good reference nonetheless. Next we get to the Parts Consumed, the Hell level, and it's the generic level, but this is the best part. A shark with freaking laser beams, and a flaming shark, I should say, as you just ride on it and you're pretty much invincible. We'll get to a similar level like this later on in the second game, but for right here, this is just so much fun. But we can soon get to the boss of this level, which is, well, Satan! The Satan from Cinemaster. Again, from the Super Mario Bros. 3 review, and again, I like this, but as you see here, Bullshit Man, he takes down Satan lickety-split. Yes, even Satan can't stand shit. Seriously, when you have the Bullshit Man and you're on easy mode, everything's a breeze. Now we're in Boo! Haunted House. A nice reference to an actual Atari game, and in this case, everything, you gotta be very careful or you don't know what's gonna pop up at you. And, well, it's just one of those type of be careful where you step levels. But coming into the boss, we got a multitude of references. First, we get Bimmy's coming, referencing Freddy's coming from Nightmare on Elm Street, the game. And, well, Freddy and Jason, like the nurse dealt with. But also Bimmy and Jimmy, a reference to the Double Dragon 3 review. Very nice, just cramming them all into one. Very, very good. Next, we get into Blizzard of Balls. A holiday theme one, but yeah, again, it's more of a regular level. But what really kicks it up a notch is, first, you deal with Santa as a mini-boss. Very easy, stupidly easy, even on easy mode. But then afterwards, you then ride on his corpse right down the snow. I mean, good Lord Almighty, who thinks of this stuff? I mean, look at me go, woo! Oh, whoops! Got a little distracted. But yeah, seriously, this is just ridiculous. You're riding on Santa's corpse, leaving blood all the way down, watching yourself and shooting presents at, oh, don't want to make that mistake. And yeah, it's just really fun, but yeah, he was just the mini-boss. Let's wait until you see what the final boss is, and with Mike, it's just as easy as, it's the three Ghosts of Christmas from the holiday episode. Since they're not all together, I'm not going to show them all off now, but yeah, see what I mean with Mike? Super easy. But it's still very, very fun. But that was the last regular level, which unlocks the final level, Laughin' Jokin' Numbnuts, aka the hard level that puts you through the ringer, but also reference to LJN. Yep, LJN, that infamous publisher that, even though you had companies like Rare and all that making their games, they were still just pains in the asses. And the nerd is just, every time he gets a game that's made by them, with some exceptions, he just tears them into the shred. And rightfully so. Those games are notorious for their very low quality. Again, some exceptions, but for that to be the final level that just puts you through the gauntlet, I can't think of anything better. See, I mean, everything is here. Enemies and all that. Every little bit from all of the levels. But wait until you see the final boss. The final boss is the ultimate programmer, and that is Fred Fox. Who is Fred Fox? Well, we'll get to him a bit more later on. but for the sake of argument, just for this part, he was part of a little joke from the Dracula episode. Watch.
The Coppola movie. Wait, who's this? Fred Fox? Fred Fox?
Fred Fox? Fred Fox! Oh my god, Fred Fox! Oh my god, it's Fred Fox! Oh, Fred Fox.
But yeah, I'll get to a bit more when we get into the second game. But for here, yeah, he's the final boss. But like before, the bullshit man, he goes right through him. If you get a hit on him, yeah, he has these balls that actually act like deflectors and weapons. But eventually, oh, there he goes. And once he's defeated, eventually the entire game land starts to collapse. And, yep, a whole lot of boom. What is this, an Atari game? But yeah, we then get the ending as, hold on a moment. Yep, the nerd and all of his friends have come out of the game all confused. What a shitload of fun! It just sucks you in. It's way too difficult. Only a total fucking nerd would play it again. And so they did. Typical nerd. So yeah, that was the first half of this game, and overall, a lot of improvements. There's some changes, as I highlighted, but there's going to be a bit more changes once we get into the next game. But I just want to say, for this first half, I really dug the first half. Changing the cameos with the future nerd, a necessary thing, so you don't just end up having a lot of empty spaces. Everything felt nice and balanced. The difficulty was toned way down, even when you're not on easy mode. And all those death blocks completely trimmed down, right, thankfully. All the levels are still very original, still very well done. And yeah, overall, I recommend it. So yeah, let's get right into the next part, next half of this game, shall we? Wait, next half? I mean next third. You'll get what I mean. Now we get into the second half of our game. Angry Video Game Nerd 2 Assimilation. This one's going to have a bit more noticeable changes. It was already fairly balanced out in the original, but here, because of lack of cameos and everything, one in particular which I'll go over, they decided to change things up a bit. But again, not so much heavy reworking. The only thing that is majorly reworked is anything that got tied into the movie has been excised. I'll go into that a bit more as well. But yeah, this one, a lot of what was used to improve the first game was taken a lot from this one, including the much more improved game engine. But let's get started now, shall we? We open up with a perfectly sunny day as we see Mike, Bullshit Man, and Chip Pickle are all chilling out having booze when all of a sudden they get zapped. Guess they're not going to be helping out this time, as they're all turned into, well, a shitty game. Again, all except the nerd who stayed home playing shitty games all day and night. The nerd room, 3 a.m. Ugh, my head hurts. What happened to my house? Why do I look like I'm in another shitty game? Yeah, this is the deluxe version. But yeah, zaps Mike, and Mike's all like, hey, I'm free. Oh, that asshole. Again, I love how the nerd is just such a dick to everyone. Now, of course, since this is just all in one game, the nerd basically tells Mike to F off. He understands how to play the game. This isn't even the first one. There hasn't been a gap. So it's like, yeah, we'll go through the tutorial just for the sake of it. But yeah, again, if you see, it's all the same stuff you had before. Just going through it all over again. Yeah, not complaining if you ask me, since we still get some new power-ups like the loafers, which allows you to wall jump. That's new. Yeah, we're going to get more power-ups as this goes on. More on that later. But yeah, here's the first major difference. In the original, we get the critic. Yep, the nerd critic fight was going on at this point. And in this case, he's looking for the sex force. This will get dropped all entirely. As after in the deluxe edition, the critic's been replaced with Fred Fox again. Now get back to that Fred Fox. He finally made an appearance by Gilbert Gottfried of all people. Yeah, James got Gilbert Gottfried to play Fred Fox. And that's been going into his interpretation here going on. And basically just say, oh, I'm going to do all this stuff with my asshole. I'm going to make you suck cock and all that. And in this case now, it's going for something completely different. The flux capacitor. Oh, and here comes the other thing. When you end a level, you go in these plungers and blow up the stage. In this case, he just blew up his own house. I love the sense of humor and all this. It's just priceless. But yeah, going in now, here's the map. Very Super Mario 3S. Now, for this case though, you can choose whatever level you want. I'm going to start off with the very first of the board games levels. I'll get into that later. But why is that? Well, first, let's take a look. Yep, board games. Nothing but board games. But the reason why is because you get your first power up here. The Power Glove. It's bad. So bad. As the nerd has gone over about this before. It basically gives you a Mega Punch. Useful if you remember to use it. Then the next stage is Monster Madness, based off of his little Halloween marathon he usually do. Hey, there's Bimmy down there. Hey, Bimmy. Yeah, never let Bimmy's chainsaw touch you. That's an instant death. But yeah, so this is the first stage of this set of levels. And here you get the Power Pad. Yep, you remember the Power Pad. In this case, he uses it as a cape. And basically allows you to hold on to it and glide in midair for briefly. Mana Stool. Next then is the underwater, and it's the sewer level. It's always a sewer level. And here you get, well, there's the Caca Demon again, but you get, oops, I completely forgot I blew up here. But yeah, you then go through this and you get to the gamepad, which basically gives you a charge shot a la Mega Man, the turbo pad. And, come on. Yep, there we go. Oh, yep, perfect weapon. Next, we're in, what was originally called Hong Kong 97, and here's the original version. With the new deluxe version, they decided to rework it all because, as you saw a little bit earlier with the King Claudora, they ended up putting more Godzilla references in. Thus, they wanted to open up the map a bit more. Here's the new version. And yep, you can barely see it in the background, but you have a Godzilla XP versus another monster. Which monster is it, you may ask? Why, it's Mothra, of course. As you can see, Mothra is just going in and just slamming on Godzilla. And they're traditional and rivalry. But yeah, I love this and that in the background. Oh, and now back in the first stage though, and this is regardless the same place regardless of which version you go with. You jump above, go over, and hop over a bunch of stuff. Ouch. And you get the Fumiko Swearin' Scout. It's basically the Konami scope. And here, much like Mike, you get open to hidden areas. Now here we get into Area 51 where we see the little alien from it, and from the movie. Yeah, this was originally a movie tie-in, and it really shows. But unfortunately, as I said before, without the movie tie-in, we are not going to get, things are going to be redone. Fortunately, these little robots here, they're pretty generic looking, so they didn't need to be changed. But in the new version, they had to change them due to copyright. So they decided to go with the E.T. Go Come version. Yeah, pretty freaky looking, don't you say? Oh, and here's the last power-up, the Uber Scope. Now he's all powered up in the full suit. Now here's the first boss, and it's I go with Dark Onward from the movie. Again, because of it, the licenses, they aren't able to use them much more. But here, he's a pretty good boss. In fact, you have to take him down and, oh, there go his limbs. You have to keep on shooting at him and shoot the missiles to blow him up for more damage. Oh, once he loses, he becomes a giant scorpion. I'll get to that in a little bit. But trust me, this tactic of using the missiles will come back later on in the next episode. But yeah, in replace of him, they go with Dark Invader. Basically an addition of Darth Vader and Davros. Apparently from what I heard, they were going to call him Dave Ross. But what are you going to do? But yeah, basically, you fight him off, you do the same tactics, exact same, as all of a sudden though, he changes and transforms, a bit more I am your father, but here, I am a fucking Scorpion Special Edition. Why is that? Well,
Vader? Already? He's inside the Sandcrawler because why? Oh well, who cares?
Did that happen in the movie? Did that happen in any of the movies? Did Darth Vader say to Luke, "I am your father, and I am also a fucking scorpion"? No, it's not true. That's impossible! Why does Darth Vader turn into a fucking scorpion? That doesn't even happen in the special editions. There is no version of Star Wars in this universe or timeline or any other, I'm sure of it, where Darth Vader turns into a fucking scorpion.
Yep, as always, it's another nerd reference, and a very great one. But much like before, you have to fight him off, and he's a much bigger target, making the missiles that come from the side guaranteed to hit him. And you just keep on fighting him, having the missiles hit him, until eventually he's down for the count. And yep, you have to get the flux capacitor piece again, or the sex force, again, depending on which version you go with. Next, it's Board James. Yep, and we're surrounded by his two dead friends. And as you can see, there was a hint that the two could have been one and the same. And the nerd makes a represent later where he says, "I'm glad I'm not him." Yeah, he's a mini boss, and you take him down. Very good. And the final boss of this section is Mr. Bucket, aka the Mr. Bucket parody, again from Board Games. Perfect choice. Now, here's the boss, a crazy boss battle. We get Sir Werepy, who looks pretty much like Dracula from Castlevania. You shoot him and he opens up. Oh, you see his little boxers. You just take him down until Mr. Werepire, sorry. It's a full moon and he transforms into a vampire werewolf. But because of his transformation, he basically has to scratch his butt, and that's how he attacks. You just keep on shooting him until he decides, "Oh, I will get stronger, see my true power." As he then becomes a vampire werewolf knight. Yeah, basically playing off how Castlevania keeps on having so many different forms. Thankfully, he's actually easy to take down, and since I'm on easy mode, I'm able to take a lot of the hits. But yeah, once you take him down, you think he's dead. Not quite, as he's now a ghost. So a vampire werewolf knight ghost just died, fucker. Well said, nerd. And of course, he's a lot easier here. And but he comes as a zombie, and the nerd, he's had enough. Fuck you, this is ridiculous. A fucking zombie ghost vampire knight werewolf. We're done. Just watch. He just goes into the ground, and the nerd walks off. Oh, there's the piece. And just a moment. Here he comes. Mine. And now, oh boy, the Ninja Turtles electrify seaweed. Of course, they had to make reference to this, but they also make reference to you can just walk over it. Yeah, what's the point? What I love best about this level is you get a point where the seaweed's so impossible, but you can just turn it off. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Which you can do that in the real Turtles game. And the mini-boss, it's the nerdy turd from the Odyssey episode. Yeah, again, you're cleaning up a little loose ends, because never knew what happened to the nerdy turd since then. Of course, I'd rather like to know why he didn't go with Shit Pickle. And here are the final boss of this set. You have herpes, genital warts, and gonorrhea. Basically, they're Ninja Turtle and ripoffs and Battle Frog ripoffs. And those are the names the nerds thought were to go with. And yeah, you just fight them off. Oh, here they all come. There's each one of them all share one health bar. And yeah, you take them each out. And just give me both. Ouch. Again, thank God for easy mode. And you took them all out. Oh wait, Master Shinter. Oh, my children, I've trained them since they were tadpoles. And one hit. Cow a fucking piece of fucking dog shit. That's not the exact line, but hey, who cares? Oh boy, we're in the next Japan one as we go with the Pompoki or the Tanuki. Yeah, look at that ball sack. Good lord. Also in the background, as you probably, well, you can't tell here, but there we go. You have Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla. Balls of the North Star, motherfucker. Then we get a Totoro reference. Of course, we have a Totoro reference. Oh, J. Lee Tanuki. I just realized the name is off of Jet Li. Yep, he just takes off and the nurse says it well. What the hell was that about? The in Japan final boss is Cat 209. Obviously a joke on Ed 209. Very, very easy actually of a boss fight. As you just keep on shooting and goes down, once if you have the super scope, goes down pretty easily. You just keep on opening firing on him and then, and there we go. Oh, 1111. Wish I knew what that translated to. But now we go to the second to last level, a virtual boy style level. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through show you guys all this, both for your eyes and it's really hard, believe me. So let's just skip to the boss, shall we? Here's the original version of the final boss. The critic is ready to sacrifice himself to deal with Death Wasik. Yep, from the movie, and there he is. Yeah, James basically grabbed him so he can actually have a chance to do some kaiju style big robot fights. And oops, see ya, critic. What an asshole. And yeah, you fight him off and then you just keep on shooting at the fingers. Just the fingers. Now here's the deluxe version. Fred Fox is basically going to explain what happened. Now in the own episode, Life of Black Tiger, he said he made a video game out of monkey feces and foliage. In this case, he made the ultimate computer, a sentient one, that would started turning everything into pixels. So in other words, he created it and did this all. A nice replacement for Death Wasik, if you ask me, even though it's pretty much the same boss battle. But it's the Fuckotron 3000, and much like the critic, let's just say Fred Fox takes the similar fate. He basically, just keeps on taunting at him until, he thinks, oh, remember me for, boom. Again, what an asshole. So yeah, we get the same fight. In this case though, unlike the Death Wasik where you only have one type of enemy that he would shoot out from his tube, here, gotta point out, he looks like the Undertaker boss, doesn't he? But yeah, and here he's going to start using all of the enemies. Sometimes you'll even get the Bimmy character guy coming out. That's why you want to stay as far away as possible from the edge, because you never know what's going to come out of there. Oh, and he has a magnet that's going to keep pulling you to the side, keeping you away. But, you see here I have Super Mega Death Crisis power up again. So, give it a moment and bada bing, bada boom. There he goes. Took out that Fuckotron. Again, similar fight would happen with Death Wasik either way. So given how James set up Death Wasik, it seems unlikely to beat him. And with Fred Fox antics put to an end, the day is no longer a shitload of fuck. And all those monstrous pixelated fucking assholes turn back into regular fucking assholes. Having gotten all his shit back, the nerd triumphantly returned home to do what he does best. Congratulations, you fucking nerd. You did it. But you're the post-credit bit where they both do it. This is the case where it makes more sense with Death Wasik if you see the movie, but seeing the Fuckotron do the same thing is just priceless. So yeah, that was the next half of the Angry Video Game Nerd game, Deluxe Edition. And I still liked it. Didn't need to be changed except for some cosmetic changes here and there. But the cosmetic changes really work. And yeah, if you don't want it to be a movie tie-in, you needed to change it. Replacing the critic with Fred Fox, I'm not going to complain about too much. And it was just as fun as I was when I played the original. Very well made. But we're not done yet, because to make this whole set look more worth it, they actually made it an extra episode. Let's get into that, shall we? And here we go. There's the first episode. So I got everything 100%ed. The second episode, got everything 100%ed. Let's go into Tower of Torment, the final chapter. This is pretty much a Wily's Tower from the Wily Wars type of extreme challenge where you get everything. Now, fortunately, if you go into this after being 2, you have all the weapons and everything. So, yay for that. But yeah, this is going to include everything you have here. And yeah, pretty much a whole lot of good times and trying to memorize it. Like I said before, you get the giant claw emulating the Dragon Slayer boss. And yeah, pretty easy if a little monotonous, but fun. And yep, still blow everything up. For the record, the D is behind that little, the bomb. Now we go into one of my favorites. You get this one level where you have to keep jumping up because Big Rig's truck keeps on coming by and it kills everything in its path. So perfect. I like to think that tattooed guy is driving it. And then here's the last normal level. It's basically a big maze where you have to climb all the way up this tower, and every time you do, you gotta make sure you're going around the screen. Yeah, very fun, very interesting, makes you think. And then of course leading into the final boss, which deals with, of all things, the one that I surprised they forgot to use, and yet they found a clever way to do it to avoid copyright. And it's Bugs fucking Bunny, or he's known as the Fucky Bunny. After being shat on and beaten up to all hell, you knew this was going to happen. You knew that this had to be the final boss, at least for this little level. If they do a third proper game, who knows, but it's perfect. Especially since, hey, the last time during the 10th YouTube anniversary, well, remember the last time that fight went, the nerd just slammed into him and came out on top, just giving him the ultimate final beatdown. Well, looks like he's back for one more, as now we get into, this fight, which, like I said before, if you remember the Dark Onwards fight, it's pretty much not that different. In this case, you gotta make sure that the carrot missiles hit him. But just for the obvious, this is just the first part of the battle. There's going to be another phase after we're done. Just got to keep on and be careful, and there he goes. And wouldn't you know though, obviously that wasn't the end of him. You think a cartoon video game rabbit goes down that easily, fucko? As he comes right in on a rocket and blows up the whole place. And wouldn't you know it, phase 2 is the most obvious, as we see a giant fucking rabbit. And in this case though, he just shoots fireballs at you, and he seems to be completely invincible. Dropping anvils and everything. You still have to dodge the carrot. Some of them actually do drop beer to replenish their health. But here's his weak spot, his butt, as he just dumps a whole load of shit balls on top of you. Of course that was his weak spot. What else would it be? And yeah, basically you just gotta keep doing that. Doesn't really change things up much after that for the task, but really with how hard this is, just look at it. It's pretty damn hard on its own, just trying to survive long enough to get that opening. And again, this is just on easy mode. And, hold on a second. And, yeah! Take that, you fucking butt rabbit piece of shit! So, yeah, with that, fuck me, plot bomb. Oh, fuck. Now we're seeing the nerd and the rabbit go all the way down to hell. Finish him! Just start getting everything. The F-bombs, everything. Just start throwing them at him. Everything. Just finish him off. It takes a while so you can get the ultimate pounding on him. But you want to know the funniest thing about all this? And this final bit here? Is that it's pretty much an adaptation of the Crazy Castle video where the nerd Bugs as one of the other characters of this Woody Woodpecker and the devil are in the hell. And wouldn't you know it, the nerd's stuck there. So that was Angry Video Game Nerds 1 and 2 Deluxe. I loved it, and if you're into retro games, you're gonna love it. It gave the redesign that, especially the first game, really needed. It was able to tweak up and improve on the second game, and gave us a nice final chapter. Not really tied into everything, but whatever you see here from this footage, it's really, really good. And again, as you can tell by my nerdiness, if you're a nerd fan, you're gonna love it. If you're not a nerd fan, you'll still get some enjoyment out of it. And so then, one thing I want to point out, it's so easy to get all the achievements. As you see, I got them all. Why is that? Well, if you look at it, some of the achievements they had here include beating all the other difficulties. Yeah, from what I've talked to with some of the guys involved, they wanted to avoid that at all costs. They want to be, if you want to go for the hard mode, that's your choice. You shouldn't have to try and go for achievements to get it. And I applaud them for that, because it made it less stressful to have to worry about. So yeah, that's the end of this review. And that's the end of my talking about the nerd. I am always going to keep on being a fan of James's work. He just does such a great job. And I hope he keeps doing more. I hope he keeps doing the nerd, and I hope we see more. Heck, I hope we get more games out and games eventually. Maybe a proper Video Game Nerd Adventure 3. But until that time, all I can say is just keep on enjoying everything, and have a great fucking Halloween, guys. Since I just realized now that this is going to be right before Halloween. So enjoy it and go out and get this game. See ya!